A little while ago, some of you requested that I make a video about vegan snack ideas for kids. And now I realize we're a couple of months later and I still haven't put it out, so I thought it would be the perfect topic for this week's video. Now, the art of making snacks can be as creative or as simple as you wish to make it. And in my case, at the moment, with a teething 6-month-old that is definitely not sleeping through the nights, especially not now, simple is what I'm going for. So in this video, I want to share with you the 5 simple, easy to make snacks that we currently rely on to feed our 3-year-old. They're nothing fancy, but they're very simple to make. They don't take many ingredients and they're really quick. So in my books, those are win-win-wins. Children have smaller stomachs than we do, which generally means that they need to eat more frequently in order to meet their energy and nutrient needs. So that's why snacks are really important for them. And snacks are also a great way to include some foods that contain certain nutrients that your child may not so easily or readily want to eat at meals. And one really good example of this is calcium. There are plant foods that contain calcium, but they're usually the leafy greens that children don't necessarily love to eat, especially not at first. So snacks are a great way to serve those calcium-rich plant foods together with perhaps calcium-fortified foods in new and different ways so that it helps them want to eat these foods. Other foods that I like to include consistently in my daughter's snacks include iron-rich foods as well as foods that are naturally rich in fat and foods that are very rich in vitamins and minerals, for example, some fruit or vegetables. Now, I find that this formula works really well for us because it helps complement the nutrients that I usually try to include in her meals. And also, for me, it makes my job really easy when it comes to thinking of what foods to offer my daughter for her snacks. So with that said, let me share with you some of the most recurrent snack examples based on this formula in our household. The first snack consists of a calcium-fortified soy yogurt, to which I'm adding a tablespoon of chia seeds, a little bit of nut butter, and some fruit. I really like to add seeds to my daughter's snacks and also to her meals, especially flax, chia, and hemp seeds, because these seeds are particularly rich in iron, as well as alpha-linolenic acid, which is an essential fat that everyone, adults and children, need to get from their diet, whether they're eating plant-based or not. And if I want to add a little bit of extra calcium, I'll especially go for chia seeds or sesame seeds, because these are the 2 types of seeds that are richest in calcium. Now, I try to involve my daughter in some aspects of her snacks. For example, I might give her the choice between 2 different fruits to add to her yogurt, or ask her if she prefers flax seeds or chia seeds that day. But of course, the general composition and timing of the snack remains my responsibility. Snack number 2 is especially popular in the summer, and it consists of homemade popsicles. And I promise these are much quicker and less complicated to make than it may seem. All it involves is making a smoothie and pouring it into popsicle molds. And you can make this ahead of time, or what I usually do is make it right after lunch, place the popsicles into the freezer, and they're usually ready by her afternoon snack time. You can turn any smoothie recipe you'd like into popsicles, but the formula I usually use consists of about 1 cup or 1.5 cup of calcium-fortified plant milk, and then 3 large tablespoons of flax or chia seeds. And I do this because I have 6 popsicle molds, and I want to make sure that there's about 1 tablespoon or just a little bit under a tablespoon of flax seeds per popsicle. So that's how I calculate it. And then add the fruits and vegetables of your choice. These popsicles are actually one of the easiest ways to get my daughter to enjoy eating leafy greens like kale, because as most children, she's not a huge fan of eating them in salads or cooked yet. And this year is actually one of the first years that I've tried my hand at growing a vegetable garden. And of course, I wanted to grow a lot of leafy greens like kale, and the plants are finally big enough to start harvesting. And this recipe is one of the first ones that I've used our own kale in. So I'm really excited about that, dorkily enough. But it's really nice to be able to partake into this garden to table aspect of gardening and start including those leafy greens in a lot of our own meals and snacks. Of course, you can also enjoy this recipe simply as a smoothie, which brings me to the next snack idea, which may sound a little bit weird, but it's one of my daughter's favorites. And it's also the one that I rely on when I'm waiting on a new delivery for groceries and don't have much else left in the house. She'll call this a smoothie, although truly it's probably more like a very liquid version of a chia pudding. So how it goes is that she requests a glass of plant milk and then asks me to add chia or flax seeds to it, and then whichever fruit we still have on hand, be it raisins or dried apricots or frozen blueberries. And then she'll sit at the table and slowly fish out all of the ingredients with a spoon, and then finishing up by drinking the milk. And it gets a little messy, but she definitely loves it. And it takes me very little time to make. So in my books, it's a win-win snack. Alternatively, you can serve your little one some dried fruits and nuts sprinkled with an iron-rich seed and accompanied with a glass of calcium-fortified plant milk on the side. Or another variation may be that you're swapping the dried fruit with fresh ones and then the nuts with nut butter so that your little one can then dip the fruit slices into the nut butter. And it takes, again, very little time to do. I'm not sure if I've ever mentioned this before, but my daughter absolutely loves white beans and tomato sauce. It's actually one of her favorite ways to eat beans, so I'll definitely use this to my advantage when planning her more savory tasting snacks. So one easy breezy combination is to serve them with a side of tofu fingers and some sliced up veggies. Although the beans are already rich in iron, I'll probably sprinkle them with one of the seeds just to add an extra touch of iron, but also a touch of plant-based fats. But of course, you can replace these seeds with something like avocado if you wish. The final super easy snack idea is to serve your child some leftovers as a snack. And I don't do this all the time, but I try to do it when I see that my daughter has been refusing or skipping her lunch for a couple of days. When it comes to feeding her, I use a concept called the division of responsibility to feeding, which means that she's basically in charge of deciding if she's hungry at that moment and if she wants to eat and what she will eat from the things that I'm offering her. So if I do notice that a couple of days in a row she doesn't want to eat the foods that I offer her for her lunch, to then only go on to eat huge amounts of yogurt with peanut butter and seeds and nuts or whatever it is that I'm offering her for her snack, I'll try to offer her leftovers as her snack, just to add a little bit of variety in her snack rotation. So how this might go is that at lunchtime she says, I don't want to eat it, or I'm not hungry. And I'll say, okay, if you're not hungry, that's fine. We'll just take this, put it aside in the fridge, and we'll keep it for later, for when you're actually hungry. And then when snack time rolls around, I'll offer it to her again, or maybe I'll repackage it in a different way. For example, if we have curry, I might roll it up into a tortilla and slice it just so it looks a little bit different, and then offer her that for her snack. And that's it. Those are the 5 really easy snack combinations that I usually rely on a weekly basis. Like I said in the intro, these vegan snack ideas are definitely not the fanciest that you're going to find out there, but together with well-balanced meals, they help my daughter meet her nutrient needs on a plant-based diet, and I think that's really the most important thing there is. I always appreciate real-life examples of what parents really feed their plant-based kids, not just the fancy inspiration of snacks, but also just the real-life, very easy snacks that you may rely on a day-to-day basis. So I hope that this video will provide you with some practical examples. They've worked really well in their family, so perhaps they will work really well for you as well. If you have more time on your hands and you want to get more creative when it comes to the snacks you offer your kids, that's awesome too. So I'll put a link to a list of dietitian-approved, more creative snack ideas in the description box below, so you can check it out. If you found this video helpful, please remember to give it a like. On this channel, I share my knowledge and experience as a registered dietitian to help busy families and their little ones thrive on a plant-based diet. So if that's something that you want to learn more about, then I also encourage you to subscribe. And with that said, that's it for today. Until next time, ciao ciao!